last week talked about establishing, and part of that is establishing an atmosphere. He that comes to God must believe that He is,
That's right.
and that He's a rewarder. Without faith, it's impossible to please Him.
Yeah.
So we have to come in believing Him, and that brings about a prayer, a praise. Hallowed be Thy name. So we come glorifying Him, and whenever you come into a place and you are praising God for what He's done, you're establishing an atmosphere where you can get your prayers answered.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So, and we're still in this vein. Boom. We're still in this vein about this atmosphere. The atmosphere is very important. And one of the things that we as believers, we need to learn how to do is shift an atmosphere. And when I say that, I remember when I was learning how to drive a standard shift, right? It's totally different. You have to listen. You have to kind of feel where the car is. You got to watch the speedometer to see about where you are as far as your speed. So you'll know when to come out of one and go into two, and then to move into three and 4 or 5 gear, depending on where you are. And as believers, we have to learn how to shift gears. There are times when God calls us to pray about a specific issue. And we can't be like, well, Lord, I can't pray for that because I didn't do this. There are times when we will find someone in a position right now that need prayer. And I know the last thing you were thinking about when you went to the grocery store was to stop and drop and pray. However, if the person is going through something right then, and let's just keep it honest. Some folk, they'll say, I'm gonna pray for you, but they don't pray, not because exactly, not because they don't desire to pray for you or it's not important, but people forget, right? If it's not important to them, if it's not something weighing on them, it's going to be harder for them to remember to pray later. And so when I come with people like that, especially out, when they say, please pray for me for this or that or the other, I'm like, let me pray with you right now. Because I can write it down and I can lose the piece of paper. I know I'm bringing it to prayer on Tuesday so that we can intercede on behalf of all the saints. But sometimes, when it was Wednesday morning and you told me to pray and you want me to put you on the prayer list by the next Tuesday, man, I done missed. Shoot.
You found a lot more
to pray for, exactly. And so we have to learn how to shift the atmosphere ourselves. We are holy. We are called to be a holy people. And because of that, we are called to always be in communication with God. And that's whether I'm happy, I'm sad, whether I'm depressed, whether I'm elated. It doesn't matter what my feelings are, because we don't walk according to our feelings. We've got to walk according to our faith. We have to believe, as Apostle G was saying, how the atmosphere, if you going to God and you don't even believe it, what is you even going for? Because you're not going to present yourself well. If you go before a court and you believe that the judge is against you, the 12 jurors is against you, everybody that's sitting behind to observe, they don't like you, right? And you going in and you by yourself. And your lawyer don't believe nothing that you said either. And so now your countenance is different. Now you feel some kind of way like, man, all these folks up against me. Them folks up there, they supposed to be a jury of my peers. Hey, don't none of them look like me. Don't look like they even, you understand what I'm saying? And so even in those situations, that's a hostile environment. You've got to learn how to pray. Sometimes you'll go to a church and, let some